Welcome to In the Hot Seat, where each week we put the latest and most exciting tech news in the hot seat to find out if the vendors are telling you the truth or maybe it's just marketing. Sorry, Jody.
Sorry, Jody.
Did you really just say maybe it's just? Did I hear the word just marketing?
I think you just equated marketing with lying.
No. I said hope. It's just marketing. That's what I said.
Looks like I got some influence on Mike.
All right, I better get into stories because we're going to get in trouble. Okay. Actually, the first one, this is a really interesting one. PwC announced this week that it had built an agentic contact and service solution with AI, and it's centered on an AI-powered voice digital agent built on OpenAI's multimodal APIs. They're claiming reduces cost to serve, improves service experience, frees human agents for interactions that need judgment and empathy. PwC calls it an intelligent customer edge. That's exciting, huh? So they stood up a dedicated center of excellence with OpenAI, joined the OpenAI Partner Network as one of the first firms. And interestingly, if you the underlying capability, as long as you have a solution you can link to it, it's an interesting kind of launch. It is from a distribution standpoint, it shows, and we've seen this with a few other announcements, that the big four, packaging and selling OpenAI's agent stack directly into the enterprise service organizations with the services to go along with it, which has been kind of a theme over the last few weeks. Anyway, what do you guys think about this one?
Well, we certainly don't have enough customer service products out in the market.
No way.
I mean, that was my first reaction.
Finally, a customer service product, right?
Exactly.
I mean, to me, this is a marketing repackaging, right? That this exists. There are products out there that use agent technology from a customer service perspective. I hate to say going back to hopefully just marketing, but it's packaging up something that exists today. And I think doing a great job of it from a marketing hype, right? And the name brings the names, plural, bring value. But to me, it's just marketing, Michael.
I mean, to me, to be fair, underneath this, I mean, there is a product there, but to me, the big notice here is, or the big news is that it's packaged up with a service offering that you need to actually make it work, which is somewhat different than than what you see from the other, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Five9.
The packaging and the distribution model.
Yeah,
exactly. The center of excellence. And there's a bigger trend. You initially said a couple of weeks now. So this is actually already longer, because all these model makers make consulting business models, well, not obsolete, but have a dramatic impact on them, because the billable hour is probably going the way of the dodos right now, and needs to be replaced by something better.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting, to give you something to go along with that. I was doing some research for an article yesterday or the day before, and today the calculation is 5 service dollars for every dollar of AI spent. And to take you back in history, that's a 1998 number from ERP implementations that eventually went to less than $1 per dollar because of, SaaS and cloud and all the good stuff there. But, and I guess you could argue that, all the infrastructure cost back then moved into the SaaS environment. So you paid for infrastructure differently, not that you didn't pay for it, but you paid for it differently in the subscription. But now, because we're moving into this new world, and there is a great deal of, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, I guess, around some of the implementation work, that has gone back up significantly.
Yeah.
Now, does that continue? I don't know.
Well, it seems like this as a distribution model, it could be effective for people who have already sort of crowded their human resources stack, i.e., we don't have enough people to really pay attention to this ourselves, so we'll bring in the consultants to do some of the implementation work for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bigger than that. I think the skills gap is the biggest issue, right? I mean, there's people, but they're not people that'll, especially in the mid lower enterprise, that have the knowledge and the experience already to do the implementation. So some of that has just simply been, gee, we did a pilot and we can't get it into production.
Yeah, we have 100% of our AI resources allocated already. Doing what? Oh, well, nothing, because we don't have any AI resources.
And this is probably exactly where the value is, because what the defamatory way of formulating is that there is now a kind of an adult level supervision on the model, so that there's actually some business knowledge that gets into the model, backed by a brand name, which is something that's quite valuable, so that there is the instigation of hope for an outcome to the client.
Well, even before ERP, there was Siebel, and that ratio was at least 3 to 1.
Oh, it was
Siebel is not an ERP.
Simultaneously with ERP was Siebel, and their ratio was 3 to 1 services minimum.
Yeah.
And like that was just a database. Like that was, like what kind of complexity other than integration, which was huge, is there in, and so once the product got more intuitive, then you had things like Salesforce, where, just like Michael said, some of those dollars shifted into the subscription, but a lot of them were only there temporarily as we sort of onboarded a new kind of product that wasn't a whole product yet.
And don't get me wrong when I say that the billable hour is going the way of the dodos. It's not like the consulting fees will vanish.
Right.
They will just be billed differently.
Yeah, no, I think that is, we're moving in that direction. And to your point, Pete, I mean, back in the mid to late 90s, we were doing everybody has to upgrade their enterprise software because it's going to blow up in the year 2000. So there was a lot of pressure to get things done quickly, but also we were at client server, and there was a lot of infrastructure work, and even down to build out all these reports, because we have to have them, and the dashboards, and everything was custom. So, in some ways we've gone back to that, because now you are back to, how do we make sure the data integration is done and the data quality is there? And, we've gotten things, a complete picture that we can use with this, and, the MCP and the A2A pieces of governance work. There's tons of service work around all of this.
I think that's a tremendous point I overlooked that you just brought up, was that it back in the day when I worked at Teradata, the whole client server thing was its own hunk of complexity, right? And so at Teradata, the idea was, let's have a single data model, and we'll put that on a piece of hardware that can handle it, and then you can do joins across tables and all this stuff that was difficult to do in other technologies. But it was just so painful to get people to build an information model that it just rarely got done. And so these data marts just grew out of thin air, because I could make something that was way smaller and easier to implement, right? And so now it's with the cloud, I can almost spend more time on the data piece of this problem, because I don't have to worry as much about how the technology strings itself together, or how PwC has to string it together for me.
But the only downside of that, I would say, is that what we did when we shifted into the SaaS cloud world is eventually acquisition of new solutions became so easy that the number of solutions in each department just exploded. And so we, instead of having one marketing automation solution, you got 33 different marketing tools, and you've got at least 33 different data models and databases to deal with, which is maybe okay if you're using 33 different tools, but if you're trying to push that all into a single agent model, you can't, it won't work, right? So I mean, we're kind of back to that same problem with the client server world. Was you had to have at least a data model that worked with the solution you were deploying. It may not connect, the ERP data may never see the customer data and vice versa, but
I have a consolidation agent.
yeah, well, now you would hope, right? I mean, it's an interesting one. And I mean, I do think that we're starting to see more and more of that, OpenAI with Frontier and, Anthropic and all these guys moving down the path of services. And of course, those big service providers have real opportunity across something that had really become difficult for them in the past. So,
Yeah.
I wonder how long it takes to do this versus Agentforce or ServiceNow.
Well, if you ask them,
and is there any competitive advantage in doing a PwC version of this?
Yeah, as long as you are not on Agentforce, probably yes. Likely yes.
Maybe. I mean, but in fact, all of you have to have some underlying service solution to make this work, right?
Yeah.
So it presumes that you're already a Salesforce customer or ServiceNow customer, or one of 100 other possibilities, I guess, that you could be on. I don't know.
I guess we are getting a not so subtle hint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's true. But, and unfortunately, Jody had to drop off for a few minutes. But yeah, we should go ahead and do a vote. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, is hype, not hype, good, bad, indifferent?
I don't think it's hype.
It's not.
I just think it's you have to surround new technologies with services sometimes, and that's what this is.
Well,
So
I mean, that's fair.
I don't know which finger to use for that, but
I haven't.
one of them.
Well, never mind. I had an idea.
Probably need two, maybe two.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good point though, Pete. So if you separate the model, the services piece from the product,
right.
I mean, because that is fair. I'm not sure we need another, agentic customer service solution, but
no.
But somebody to make the ones we have work is useful.
From an implementation point of view,
there's an idea.
Well, I mean, it's a theory.
Let's vote up to that one.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's. I mean, I think I did do that just then. But anyway, whatever. We're not allowed, so I still think we need to put those on hats. And anyway, all right. So the next one is another interesting one. This is Dovetail, customer intelligence platform that's fairly prevalent in the Fortune 500, like 40-ish%. Launched digital twins, autonomous AI agents, channels 2.0, MCP connectors into Claude, Microsoft Copilot, Slack, Linear. And they claim that it's closing the gap between the volume of customer signal AI that is created and the number of people who actually can use it, see it. More signal than ever. Still, most of it never reaches the person who needs it to act on it. The piece that jumped out at me, and because I talked about this for the last, 2 or more years, the idea that you could start to use digital twins in customer interactions to model the customer interaction in near real time to inform how you react, how you interact. And that's a part of what they've done, a synthetic customer persona segment built with, based on the data that's there, real calls, tickets, research. That I think is particularly interesting. If it works, I haven't seen it, so I put that caveat there. But the idea that digital twins as a proxy for the customer in near real time could significantly change your ability to get the outcomes that you want in that interaction.
So I have a question, Michael. I don't know if you. So I the more I read about Dovetail, the more I am impressed by them and their strategy. That's thing one, but thing two, like digital twins. Do you know if they are considering a digital twin per individual, or is it a customer, or is it a group of customers that all look the same? What is What is a digital twin of?
You have the capability, and from what I could tell from the research, that is your choice. You can build it out on a segment, you could build it out on a sub-segment of that, or you can build it out on individual behaviors. So you have the capability to use whatever data you have. Now, maybe you don't have enough individual behavioral data to do it at an individual level, so you do it at a sub-segment or segment. But if you have enough, it will actually model that individual customer's potential outcomes.
That's exactly where I was going, and then I'll let you guys talk. But my thought was, the digital twin idea was kind of born out of NASA, right? And they have lots of data to construct a digital twin of whether it's an astronaut or a lunar module or whatever, and so not so much in the customer space, especially if this is a customer service kind of application, and my stuff never breaks. You don't have any data on me. If it broke one, and the other thing about customer service is, so you're sort of on this continuum of if somebody calls you, the customer calls you, there's somewhere along the I'm ticked off to I'm really mad, right? And then I'm going to like the other part of digital twin is you can predict the next thing, and so if I satisfy the customer, I can predict with zero data they're going to be happier than they were a minute ago, and if I don't fix it, I can predict without any data they're probably going to be more pissed off than they were, right? So
but take it out of the customer service realm, though, because that's one use case. But put it in the marketing use case or in the sales use case, and that's when you start to see this. And not that it's not interesting. I think it is interesting in the customer service world, based on how much data you may have in that interaction. You can figure out the path of least resistance, so to speak. But when you think about it in marketing or sales, that brings up a completely different set of uses that are very interesting.
It's been heavily used in supply chains for a long time. Creating digital twins is sort of second nature to large organizations and supply chains. And there has to be a little bit of customer interaction in there in order to make it work. But it doesn't deal with how long is it before I deal with a digital twin and then go to the customer that's supposed to be represented? What's the timing there?
The digital twins in supply chains and manufacturing are slightly different, right? So they're not misbehaving like you and I as humans, but
well, that's the point, right? You can use behavioral data. Using behavioral data, you can harvest off of web interactions. That drives it in a completely different direction. Very interesting direction.
I would emphasize on the caveat that you made. So if it works, because I right now would seriously doubt that it would be beneficial to model Mike or Thomas or Jody and give a prediction of our individual behavior in any type of circumstances. So I think it's quite good,
especially Jody,
in the simulation environment, to get closer to our probable reaction.
Well, that's is this a training tool, or is it something that you actually use during the interaction?
No, it's not a training tool. It's something inside of the interaction. That's the point.
Right.
That's the internet. It's an interesting scenario, but I'd like to see some proof on it before.
I'd like to see Netflix adopt this technology.
That's kind of
no thanks.
Kind of the point I was getting to is you can model a supply chain and do a digital twin, and it's okay if it screws up a little bit. If what I'm trying to do is use it in real time, and I'm dealing with human behavior, I want to see it work.
As a test bed or experimental bed for like interviews or usability testing, pricing. How does Thomas or Mike react to pricing? I think that's highly aspirational for time being. So when it comes to tying existing reactions, what the Qualtrics, Medallias, Question Pros, and companies of this planet are doing, if you tie that with this technology to make it actionable, this is probably more realistic initially.
I mean, your point underneath that, Thomas, is that it's still a data problem.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a great idea, but it ends up still being a data problem, right? Can you harvest enough real-time behavioral data and add that to whatever other data model you may have on that customer individually or as a segment to make this functional? And that's, I don't know, right? I mean, that's the real question, I think.
That's the real question behind it. Yeah.
We've been very successful in keeping Jody out of this conversation.
We have.
Let's move on to the next topic so that she can't get a word in on this one. Let's vote real quick before she says anything.
There we go.
I'm excited about this one. I'm going to throw that out there.
See, now that is a good marketing person's response. You mean I can get a fake customer that acts like a real customer and test everything before I do it? I mean, that is a good thing.
I mean, I would rather test and fail with my digital twin customer than my real customer. So for me, you know, should this become a reality, I'm all in. Sign me up tomorrow.
It does validate that is one of the more interesting use cases.
Yeah. Well, so you want to know today that you will fail tomorrow, or what?
I don't fail, Thomas.
True, I forgot that one.
We call it postponing success.
So we're going to vote now, I think. Maybe
we're voting.
Time to vote.
I'm going. I stayed quiet that whole time, but I am
definitely going to thumbs up on this one as a lover of the concept. Anyway, I'd like to see it in action.
There's a caveat, right? I'd like to see it in action as well. That's the caveat.
It is. It is. All right. Well, it looks like we have time to squeeze one more in here, and this one, particularly for Jody, is Tenon, a native marketing automation on the ServiceNow AI platform. Tenon announced that they have a marketing automation capability that runs natively inside ServiceNow AI's platform, letting teams orchestrate email, SMS, digital campaigns on the same data and governance layer as sales and service. Solves marketing's historical exile into, I love that, into separate systems, giving organizations a true 360-degree view from a shared customer record. So, Jody, what do you think about this?
I mean, you know my love of marketing automation systems. I love them, have been using them for a long time. Here's what I do love about this. The data that ServiceNow has, and you think about the challenges that marketing typically has in understanding what's happening with the customer, how's my success team, how's my service team handling the customer, getting that information in bits or what you're able to normally get from the CRM, what's fed back or what's given over to marketing tends to be a little filtered. Right? If we're being honest, if at all. And with ServiceNow, because that's native of how someone is using the system, I mean, it's a goldmine of data, right? So I'm torn on this when I say a thumbs up, thumbs down, because the headline itself, it's a thumbs up for me because it's huge that you're now bringing marketing automation into ServiceNow. And I mean, that's huge, right? I say thumbs down because, again, marketing automation typically needs this information. So it's been there in the past. We just haven't had as much access to it as what this combination now gives. So I'm all in on the thumbs up.
So it sounds to me like what you just said is this is a data issue again.
Everything we talk about is data.
It's data. It's all.
Yes.
Jody, talking about data, Tenon as a company started on ServiceNow way back when they were way back there. Yeah?
Way back.
So
way back.
Going back to the headline, this makes the headline a thumbs down because there's nothing new in there. They have been native on ServiceNow since day one.
Well, the point is native in the ServiceNow AI platform. That was that's the change. From what they said.
Well, this is just following the technology of the one that.
Yeah.
Well, that you make yourself dependent on. Yeah.
It's an extension It's an
it good?
extension of.
Is it good from a functional point of view or interesting from a functional point of view? There, I'm fully with you. That's where your thumbs
Yes.
down was, right? I put my thumbs up at that one.
Well, I
But-
mean, it still comes back to the same thing. If you're a ServiceNow customer, it could be
Yeah.
interesting, but if you're not, do you care?
Then who cares? Yeah, all right.
If
So
you're
this-
not a
this-
ServiceNow, no.
Yeah,
And-
that's kind of what I was going to say, was that it seems like ServiceNow is, it just from an outsider looking in, it's more like we're just going to be an alternative to these other companies you don't like because you like the way we run our company better
Yeah.
than yours, and it's really not about the products, is how much can
No.
we do for you. And then my second point is that, back to Jody's comment, is that in my mind, from a product standpoint in particular, this customer service telemetry that can come in is really teaching you about the outcomes you're delivering as well, as opposed to selling a product, which is more of a typical marketing perspective, right?
Yeah.
And so if you aren't delivering the outcomes that you're promising, then your renewals are going to go, horribly in the wrong direction, and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's why this customer service data has real import for marketing, even if it's product and you're not even getting it to the reaching out to a customer standpoint, just informing the product, and are we delivering on what it is the customer thinks they're buying. It's incredibly important, especially to renewals.
I mean, if you think about the one thing that's interesting about in the opposite direction for ServiceNow, is this an opportunity to get into tenant customers that aren't ServiceNow customers, assuming that is is an opportunity. I don't know. Sorry, Joe.
There, I'd look at it again the other way around. So, as it is a tenant message, I think this is a kind of who cares? Yeah? If this is at best marketing for ServiceNow, at best, this would have been quite a good and interesting message if it had come from ServiceNow.
From ServiceNow,
yeah. So, hey, we just acquired tenant. Hint.
That would have been, maybe that's next week's show. I don't know.
That might be, but that would be a message, or would have been a message. The rest is, well, it's nothing really new, right? It's just rewriting what they are doing since day one.
Sorry, Jody, go ahead.
Well, no, now I'm thinking about what you just said, Thomas, and
don't listen to him.
Only now.
All of that was complete crap. None of that matters. What he just said.
Because if you do take the headline on the surface, right, you could, like when I read the headline and read the press release and dug into this, to your point, Thomas, if ServiceNow released this, it has a completely different weight than like when I came in and said, I'm all in, this is great. I still believe that. That is still 100% my feeling on this. But you're right. If we're digging apart the headline, then the headline is the thumbs down.
That's fair. All right. Well, let's vote.
You just got mine.
That was a sideways. Is that what you did?
No, it was the down on the headline, up on the.
Or you don't get two thumbs.
No. Okay, break it apart. Headline down.
No, so
And by the way, just for the record, and I'm going to say it again, I really hate the term marketing automation. I want to do away with that branding of that.
I've been trying to automate marketing for 30 years, and it doesn't.
How about
never been able to do that.
Let's discuss that for the 30 seconds we have remaining in the show.
Moving on.
Moving on quickly. All right. Well, so that is actually the all the time we have today. So thanks everyone for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the banter. Looking forward to more banter next week. So thanks very much.
Thanks. See you.